Hello, welcome to the class of 2025 pre-registration presentation. My name is Viviana Hoyos, and I will be the GLC or counselor for students with the last names A through LO.
Welcome. My name is Sonia Nunez, and I will be the counselor for the students with last names LU through Z. We have a lot of information to go over tonight. Please don't worry, we are recording this presentation and we will have it on the school website by the end of the day tomorrow. Excuse me. If you guys can use the chat function to ask your questions, we would appreciate it. We're going to try to answer as many as we can tonight. For those that we may not get a chance to ask due to time, please note that we will try our best to create a frequently asked questions form and post that under the Class of 2025 webpage on the school website.
Okay, so we do have quite a few things to go over today. So we'll start with programs and pathways. So classes that require acceptance into a program, required courses and electives, courses with prerequisites, the course selection form that your student has received, auditions and tryouts for sports, dance ensemble, and advanced drama and choir. And we'll also review summer school, non-tuition and dedicated to learning tuition-based summer school. Three of the programs or pathways that ninth grade students can participate in are listed on the screen. The first one is Academic Foundations, or AF. Your student must qualify for Algebra 1. English, World History, and Biology teachers all work together. And AF gives you the opportunity to take an AP class in the 10th grade. The next one is the Pre-IB program. You must qualify for geometry in order to be in this program. The students submitted their applications on February 15th, 2021, and the students will take English honors, biology honors, and world history honors. Pre-IB recommends taking biology honors or world history honors in the summer. The last pathway is the Project Lead the Way, or PLTW, computer science pathway. You must qualify for geometry in order to participate. Students' submission deadline has been extended to March 12th, 2021. So if your student is interested in participating in this pathway, please make sure they submit an application. And students will take Computer Science Essentials as an elective in their freshman year. And there's a link there for more information if you would like to explore with your student this program.
So one of the things with required courses, your student will have to take a certain amount of classes in order to earn their diploma, as well as being eligible for a four-year college. You will, in the next 4 years, learn about what the A through G process is and what courses your student will need in order to graduate. For our purposes right now, we're just going to go over their selection, the first 4 classes that they will need to select from in their course form. We will touch briefly in this presentation about A through G, but we will have more information in the fall for parents regarding that. It is a lot of information we're going to throw at you, so we're trying to reduce a little bit of the confusion. So of the required courses, all students must take one form of English. They have to take a math, they have to take a science, and they have to take a physical education class. So looking at the options for English, students must choose one of the following. If they're in the English language development program, their options will be based on their grades and other assessments. A coordinator at Walnut will be assisting the counselors in referring which program your student will be, whether it's an ELD 1 twice, an English 1 with an ELD 2, an English 1 with an ELD 3. Those are the options for those students who are under the English language development. Again, we will have more information once we meet one-on-one with your student, and we will place them appropriately based on the recommendation from the coordinator. Okay. For all other students who are in whether it's an English 1 and English 1 honors. Those students will go ahead and place themselves based on their skills. So if you're not sure where you are or where your student is English-wise, and they didn't apply for the pre-IB program, this is something that you can discuss with your current English teacher and just ask, what do you recommend for my child? Do you think they're ready for an English honors class? And if, they think, college prep is just the appropriate way, that's something that you can ask your current counselor their thoughts before selecting this course. The Language E and Language F program, this is going to be based on the recommendations that we get from a case carrier in the special education department. So if your student falls under that category, that's something that we will be discussing if that's the appropriate English level for your student. Going into the math component, most students will be either taking an Algebra 1 or geometry in their ninth grade year. What the incoming ninth graders are going to get, they're going to get a placement exam for their math. And what our teachers here at Walnut will do is take those math scores on the placement test plus what they're currently earning in their math class. So grades are going to be super important when placement for math. Typically, a kid in Math 8 will be either qualified for an Intro to Algebra 1 or an Algebra 1. So again, this is going to be based on information data on their current math grades plus that placement exam that will be administered later in the spring semester. Okay. Science, their choices are biology, biology honors, or environmental science. Physical education, all students should select kinesiology unless they know they are going to do marching band. Marching band is a one semester class. They will be able to pair it with kinesiology second semester, and that will fulfill their PE requirement. As you notice, there are a few things we noted with 2 asterisks. That means that we need to have a list. The list will be given to us. So if your student is auditioning for dance ensemble, pep, color guard, or they're trying out for a sport, the GLCs get list. And in June, July, when we meet with you, we will make the appropriate adjustment. So for this purposes of completing your course form, your student's course form, please select Kinesiology 1. We will make the appropriate changes during our registration appointment in the summer based on who made the list. One of the other ones that we mention is this. We mention a grad requirement. So the grad requirement is one that you have to take in order to graduate and earn your diploma. And that is, in this case, this is the course of health. So health, it's not necessarily you have to take it in the ninth grade. We listed it as a required course because that's something you will have to complete or your student will have to complete when we finish high school in the 4 years. So if your student wants to take it now as a ninth grader, that's awesome. If they kind of want to wait a little bit, that is fine. They just have to have it in their schedule anywhere between ninth and 12th grade. So between ninth and 12th grade, as long as they get that one semester class in, they're going to be fine. So moving on to electives. So we've listed a few of our electives on here. So we have world languages, and we offer 4 different languages on campus. For those students coming in recommended to take Spanish 2, we will have a list of those kiddos that took it as an 8th grader, a Spanish 1. So if your student earned 2 A's and did well, then Spanish 2 might be the appropriate placement. For those coming from South Point, from the dual immersion program, please select Chinese 1. Ms. Hoyos and I will get a list from the Chinese teacher to let us know what the appropriate level is for your student in the 9th grade. So again, for this purposes, if you're a South Point dual immersion language student, please choose Chinese 1. We will make the appropriate changes in our summer registration. Okay, applied arts. Students have to earn 15 credits of applied arts for graduation. So we listed again a few here. This is not all the applied arts that we offer. For our purposes, we kind of condense what most kids take the same thing with the visual performing art. Visual performing art is 10 credits that your student needs to take in order to be eligible for a 4-year college. This is not all our visual performing arts. As noted on the course form that we will upload onto the school website, we will have all of them listed for your student to select. Again, this is really where your student can kind of have a little fun in their schedule, because they get to choose. The other ones are kind of required, they have to take them. So make sure that if your student's thinking of starting their visual performing arts, that they go ahead and look at the full list to make sure that they're making an informed decision.
Prerequisites. We wanted to go over what a prerequisite is, just to review. A prerequisite is a requirement that must be met before you're able to take a particular class. So for example, we have Introduction to Sports Physical Therapy. You can see that that class is only for 10th through 12th graders. And the prerequisite is that you have to complete Algebra 1 before taking that class. So we do have a lot of classes that have prerequisites, so it's important that your student is aware of what they need before they can take a class. On the next slide, we have a link to our course descriptions. So if you click that link, you're able to look at our handbook and go through every class that we offer at Walnut High School, and you'll be able to see the prerequisites. So right there on ERWC, you can see that there are no prerequisites, but that is a senior level class. So please be sure, it's very important for you and your student to go through this course description booklet, because you can read all about the class that your student wants to take and make sure that they qualify for the classes. And yeah, so you can click on that and go through that with your student. And then the next slide, we have more information about academic foundations, or AF. So if your student is interested in participating in AF, we definitely encourage you and your student to click that first link, which is a video all about AF and what it is. And then the second link is the Academic Foundations Showcase link that we had shared a couple months ago. So please review those links if your student wants to participate in AF.
So one of the things before we go into what the course form looks like, one of the things that you and your student really needs to keep in mind is that the classes that they select at this point in time in March are the classes they're going to take in the fall. So please review with your student to ensure they're choosing carefully their courses, because we cannot guarantee that we're going to be able to make a schedule change. There are a few changes that we can make in a student schedule, such as you made the baseball team, you made the pep squad. Those are adjustments that we can do in the summer, because we will have the teacher advised approved list. So this is a list that they give us of who qualifies for those classes. So if there is something where your student is changing their mind from honors to English, please note that any changes for the most part made in the summer will be a wait list if we aren't able to accommodate in our one-on-one meeting. But we can waitlist students if there is a change that you would really, or they would really like, but it's not a guarantee that we'll be able to accommodate the change in their schedule. Okay, so I know we've gone over a lot so far, but we're going to show you as parents what your student is going to actually complete. It is very important that you sit down with them and review this before they turn it in. So 1 week from today, we will be meeting with students one-on-one. Do note that these meetings are between student and GLC. There are short meetings because we have to get through a lot of students at that time, but do know that we encourage that you sit down with your student and review what this form is to make sure that they're choosing the appropriate classes for them. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. Okay. So this is the course selection worksheet for the ninth grade. So one of the things that we want to make sure the kids have is a minimum of 6 classes in their form, and that they really please turn it in by the following week. We will be going to visit virtually their classroom, starting depending on your school site, but we will be from Tuesday, March 9th through Friday the 12th, working with your students, getting this information in for the fall semester. One of the things that we did provide was the link for the handbook we showed you earlier for you to review class descriptions in case your student turns to you and asks, Mom, Dad, what is that class? We know that you won't have all that information, but we want you to have this information in case that you need to clarify something for your student. Okay, we will be uploading a PDF version of the course selection worksheet for planning purposes. This is something that you will be able to download, print, and actually plan out first before you open this Google link. The Google form link is only for students. It is going to be, they must use their student WVUSD email in order to access, and only one form will be, they will only be able to submit one form. So in this case, last name is the student's last name, first name, and please use their legal first name. If they have a nickname, that's fine. They could put it in parentheses, but if they can please use their legal name, that would help us a lot. Their ID number. Again, the breakdown, it does give you the breakdown of what the alpha is. So please choose accordingly, or have your student choose accordingly. As mentioned here, it's reference only. This is the course selection worksheet that we will be posting on our school website for planning purposes. In a traditional school year, non-distance learning, this is something that your student would actually be coming home with. But due to distance learning, of course, we've gone a little bit more high tech this year. But again, this is something that you can download for you to use for planning purposes. Okay. One of the things that your student has to go ahead and choose is whether they want period 1 through 6. This is a normal school year, or school day, I should say, from 7:50 to 2:45. Some might say they want to start 0 period. There are a few classes that we offer before the 7:50 start. And if they choose this, that means that after 5th period, they would actually be leaving campus or finishing school before 2:45. So again, this is a choice. Have a conversation with your student of what best fits for them, okay? They're gonna go ahead and choose a pathway. And again, if you submitted your application form for the pre-IB program, you probably got already notified whether you're in or not. Academic Foundations does not require an application. This is really whether your student wants to do it or not. Project Lead the Way Computer Science, as mentioned before, the March 12 is the extended deadline. If you have more questions, feel free to contact Mrs. Cole regarding more information about that. And this is, you don't plan to do any of these pathways. Again, we have so many other programs on our Walnut campus. However, only these 3 are 3 that a ninth grader can take. So if they're thinking like Project Lead the Way Biomedical, please just, or any other program, and you're not sure what it is, or they're not sure yet, just go ahead and put this, I do not plan to take part in any pathways. That just means that you're a traditional college prep student, okay? So this is kind of like the beginning of it. One of the things, again, that we want to keep in mind is in the form, it will ask students to give us alternatives. Not always will we be able to accommodate them on their first choice elective. So if you can please make sure that they put the course number plus the course title in that form for alternates, that would be greatly appreciated. And please, please, please sit down with them and review what their choices are. Again, in that course selection handbook will be the greatest resource to kind of clarify some things for them.
All right, so here are more opportunities for freshman students to get involved on campus. So we have linked sports information, so please click on that if your student's interested in participating in any sports team at Walnut High School. The second link is for performing arts information. You can scroll through that website and see if they're interested in participating in any performing arts. We have a link there for the choir. They're going to host auditions in May, and you can click that site for more information. And then lastly, we have publications linked. The publications Zoom meeting workshop is on March 19th, and the application is due on March 26th. So if you have any additional questions after you browse through their website, please contact Mrs. Tan, who is the publications advisor, and her email is listed right there below. Okay, so summer school 2021, we have again 2 options. You can see that our summer school dates are Monday, June 7th through July 15th, from 7 every day, Monday through Thursday, from 7:30 to 1 p.m. So we have non-tuition summer school, and on February 21st, the class list was posted. We have linked the class list there so that you and your student can refer to it to see if you got the class that you had signed up for. And then the second option is dedicated to learning, and that's a tuition-based summer school. So on Sunday, March 7th, the class list will be posted, and you'll be able to click the link there to see if you got into the class that you signed up for through Dedicated to Learning.
So we have a few reminders that we want to provide you as parents as you're going to guide you. You know, we're a partnership. It does take a village to get a student through high school. We are officially now part of your clan to go ahead and get your student to graduate high school and move on to bigger and better things. Whether it's a 4-year college, whether it's a career at a military academy, whether it's them moving on to our great community college. We just want to keep you guys a few tips as they finish, as your current students finish their current 8th grade year. So some of the things that we do as GLCs, we're kind of very unique compared to other high schools. We kind of handle a little bit of everything. We help your student with social emotional. We help your students with academics. We help your students with their peer relationships, and we help your kids with career exploration. So we kind of have our hands a little bit in everything because the beauty of what our program at Walnut does is we follow your student for 4 years. So we will get to really know these kiddos, not as well as you parents, but close enough to where we can help them through difficulties, whether it's having trouble in a class or having trouble with friends, or just kind of, a little stress because of the pressure they're feeling about 4-year colleges and whatnot. So we are available to your students virtually. We have been available through Google Chat, email, and a phone call. Moving forward, depending on what our fall looks like, we're probably going to continue using a lot of the tools we've been using during distance learning just to help your student. So again, this is just a few of the things that we can help your students with. But if you ever have a question or a concern regarding your specific student, please, we're only a phone call or an email away once we officially start in the fall.
Okay, so some things to consider and expect when your student starts 9th grade. There's a wide variety of classes offered at Walnut High School, so sometimes that can seem a little bit overwhelming. So just, we're here again to guide your student, and we're here to kind of listen to what the student wants and help them decide. Um, Also, this one's a big one, I think, for freshmen, the transition that they go through from going from middle school to high school. It's a big one, and some students kind of struggle. And I think this year things have been very unpredictable and different, and students are in distance learning. So that transition might be even more difficult once we're back on campus for our 9th graders. So as Ms. Nunez said, please reach out to us. We definitely appreciate it when parents tell us, like, hey, I think my student's going through something. Do you mind checking in with them? Give us the heads up, and we will do everything we can to help support your student during that transition. Um, And then moving on to new opportunities for your student to lead. Again, there's so many programs and so many opportunities at Walnut High School that we encourage students to kind of break out of their shells a little bit and get working on those leadership skills. Something that's a big difference from middle school is that every class counts. So we can't emphasize that enough with our ninth grade students. Everything that you do in high school counts, and there's a purpose for it, either graduation or college. So it's important to try your best. Lots of new faces, so you might not, obviously, your teachers and us were new to you, but maybe some new students and people that you didn't know before. So definitely, putting yourself out there socially sometimes can be good. Um, your student is also entering young adulthood, so kind of trying to build their skills in self-advocacy, so asking for help when they need it, coming to us when something's going on campus. We're going to be working with you and your student to start to build those skills. Okay.
So one of the things I mentioned earlier that you as parents will probably, if you have not already heard, if this is your first time with a first time high school student, A through G is going to be something that sounds familiar, but it might not be totally something that you're aware of or familiar with. For those parents who have this is either your last or your second going through, you probably have heard this from your other students, GLC, about the A through G. So what the A through G are the categories of subjects that your student needs to complete in order to be eligible to apply to a four-year college. Okay, and this is for the fall of their senior year. So the first one, A, the categories like social science. And one of the things we've actually done is link up our preparing for college. This is where we have a nice little grid where it shows you what is considered a high school requirement, how many credits the kids need, and what is a four-year college application requirement to apply to a four-year college. So please browse our website. We are trying our best to make it as user-friendly, providing as many links for you as parents to understand what it means to be A through G eligible. We will be presenting and meeting with your student to create a four-year plan in the fall. This is where they can kind of tell us if they have an idea of what they want to do the next 4 years. Four-year plans can be adjusted. It is not set in stone because your student can change their initial plan. I wanted to be a doctor. Now I want to be research scientists about environmental issues. What they want to do may vary for career, but when it comes to A through G, as long as they've completed that, they've met the minimum requirements for applying for a four-year college. So our goal here as GLCs, as your students' GLCs, is for them to become eligible for a four-year college the fall of their senior year when they start applying for four-year colleges. Okay, I've also linked up, or we have linked up, the Career and College Exploration tab. This is directly to our school website. Miss Marsano is the person who runs our college and career. Um, we actually have an office that's a college and career office. So this is where college admissions officers come and present to students, typically on a traditional year. This is where we post information about scholarships, we post information about internship opportunities, anything for them to kind of start the conversation of what do I want to do after high school. So this is a little bit, again, do not become overwhelmed with this. We just kind of want to touch base a little bit about it. In the next 4 years, your student and yourself will be provided the information required to make the next 4 years productive and exciting ones for your student.
So on this screen, we have some ways for your student to stay connected with us starting in the fall. So we will set up a Remind 101, which is a text message system for all freshmen or class of 2025. And we use this regularly to keep students in the loop with anything going on campus or any deadlines they might need to make. Um, And then we also have an Instagram for the class of 2025. You can follow this page, and your student can also follow it. It's WHS_2025 GLC info. And then lastly, we have linked our class of 2025 website. And starting in the fall, we will definitely be using this and add a lot of important information. So make sure you check that out regularly so that you can stay up to date with any important information we have for ninth graders.
So as we mentioned probably throughout, and as you know as parents, your student really has about 3 months of middle school left, which sounds a little crazy. That we only really have 3 more months left in this semester. So one of the things that we urge you and encourage you to help your students stay focused and help them with their work is to help them and guide them through organization skills, study, and work habits. Anything that they can put in practice now in 8th grade will be super beneficial to them as they transition to ninth grade. So whether they use an agenda or they haven't, whether they use a calendar function on whether it's a phone, their email, or traditional, paper and pen kind of organizer. Anything that you can teach them right now and put in practice will benefit them when they come over as ninth graders. Um, Please encourage your student to attend any study sessions provided by their current teachers, and ask and encourage them to also ask for help. I know it can be, especially during distance learning, it's been a different way of trying to communicate. But if you can encourage them by either having them send a Google chat, an email, set up an appointment with their teacher, and how and what ways they can improve the next 3 months, that will be a great tool that they can use when they come over to their ninth grade year. One of the things that it's important for them to do is to sleep. As you probably know, many of them have a different sleep pattern than most. Um, and we want to make sure that they know that they need at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Their minds are still growing, their bodies are still developing. So we want to make sure that they're sleeping well. If you can help them keep active, get some motion going, whether it's a bike ride, taking them for a walk, and say, you've been on your computer too long, let's go out for a walk, and making sure that they're hydrating, that's going to benefit the next 3 months. I know technology is kind of a weird one this time around because they're online all this time, but we want to make sure on the times that they don't have to physically be in school on camera, that they can please, encourage them to do something fun, something that is creative, that's hands-on, to give them a little break from their technology usage.
Okay, so this is the end of our presentation. We've linked our class of 2025 Google form just in case after this chat is over, you have additional questions, you can use that. We are the current senior class counselors, the class of 2021, so we are pretty busy and we don't want your emails to get lost in our inbox. So please use this form and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But continue to ask us questions in the chat and we will answer as many as possible. And then again, as Ms. Nunez said, we will then post the frequently asked questions to our website. Anything else, Ms. Nunez?
No, just thank you so much for taking the time and meeting us. I know this is not a traditional meet, but hoping in the near future we get to see and meet each of you as parents. I know we will have the great opportunity to meet your students next week when we go into their Google Classrooms. So super excited to meet them, and just excited to work with you.
Yes, thank you.